Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you like tech and helpful tips, don't forget to subscribe. Let's get started.
Having your homemade bread turn out dense instead of light and airy can be incredibly frustrating. But it's a common issue with several potential culprits, all stemming from the fundamental science of bread making. One of the primary reasons is often related to your yeast. Either it's inactive, expired, or the water temperature used for activation was too hot or too cold, effectively killing or stunning the yeast before it could do its job. Without active yeast producing carbon dioxide gas, your dough won't rise properly, leading to a heavy, brick-like loaf. Always check your yeast's expiry date and ensure your water is between 105 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 to 46 degrees Celsius, for active dry yeast. Another frequent culprit is the flour itself, specifically using too much of it or the wrong type. Excess flour makes the dough stiff and difficult for the yeast to expand, resulting in a tight, dense crumb. Always measure flour accurately, ideally by weight, and consider using bread flour, which has a higher protein content, crucial for developing a strong gluten network that traps gas, unlike lower protein all-purpose flour. Inadequate kneading is also a major contributor to density. Kneading develops the gluten strands, creating a resilient, elastic network that can stretch and hold the gas produced by the yeast. If you don't knead enough, the gluten structure remains weak, unable to trap sufficient air, and your bread will be dense and heavy. Aim for a smooth, elastic dough that passes the window pane test. Conversely, while less common for density, severely over-kneading can sometimes break down the gluten structure, though it more often leads to a tough texture. Perhaps the most common reason for dense bread, however, is improper proofing, specifically underproofing. If your dough doesn't get enough time to rise in a warm, draft-free environment, the yeast hasn't had sufficient opportunity to produce enough gas to lighten the dough. The dough will feel heavy and won't have doubled in size, resulting in a compact, dense interior. To check for proper proofing, gently poke the dough with a floured finger. If the indentation slowly springs back halfway, it's ready. If it springs back completely, it needs more time. If it collapses, it's overproofed, which can also lead to a dense, collapsed structure in the oven. Furthermore, insufficient hydration can lead to dense bread. If your dough is too dry, it's harder for the yeast to move and produce gas, and the gluten struggles to develop elasticity, resulting in a stiff, dense crumb. Don't be afraid to adjust liquid slightly if your dough feels too dry. Finally, an oven that isn't preheated thoroughly or is too cool can hinder the final oven spring, where the yeast gets a last burst of activity and the gas expands rapidly. Without this, your loaf might not achieve its full volume and remain dense. Paying attention to these key elements, yeast vitality, flour measurement and type, proper kneading, adequate proofing, hydration, and oven temperature, will significantly improve your chances of baking light, airy bread. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe for more baking tips.